Hey, hun, welcome, welcome. Let's today talk about money. Yes, we all have a particular relationship with money, for better or for worse. And when it comes to our salary, our income in corporate life, we have to ask ourselves, are we maximizing all of the compensation and benefits our companies provide? So let's chat about it and let's see what we discover so that we can leverage all of the financial opportunities that come our way via our jobs. For me personally, each of my jobs post graduation have been in the tech industry, and tech companies tend to offer a ton of financial benefits in various forms. And so, a lot of the examples that I will share with you today will be from a tech company point of view. So, I'd love to share some of my experiences discovering compensation and benefits at these companies. So, let's jump into it. To start, we have to ask ourselves, what is total compensation anyways, right? What is it made up of? And specifically in the tech industry, one of the basic things, as we all know, salary, which we expect across all industries. My personal favorite will be stock grants. um, and these typically drip out to you over the course of 4 years, typical package that they give. And then thinking about what other forms of compensation are like basic compensation, it's starting bonus, for example, which to calculate total compensation, you also split that over the course of 4 years. So, salary, stock grants, and starting bonuses. And the reason I say that stock grants are my personal favorite is because to me, that's the gift that keeps on giving. For example, my first job out of college was Google, and they offered a certain amount of stock grants. And as the price of the stock continues increasing, even though I haven't worked there in a couple of years now, I'm still building my wealth because I have Google stock that I haven't sold. So as Google continues to grow, I my wealth continues to grow as long as I have their stock in my portfolio. And that is why stock grants are my personal favorite type of compensation. Um, Granted, most pretty much all of the companies I have worked for full time have been public companies, and so I once the stocks are given to me and they start to become available, I automatically see the return on that invest or that company is not yet public. Then stock grants for the start of things don't mean as much. And but once the company does become public or it gets sold to another company, then you will be able to make use of those stock grants. But the beautiful things about startup is that usually pre-IPO, before the company goes public, they offer a lot more equity um, than they do once the company has become public. So that is the number one form of compensation. It's what total compensation is made up in general: salary, stock grants, starting bonus. For the stock grants and the starting bonus, you divide it by four and add it to your salary in order to come up with the 1 year total compensation. Okay, so let's move on to the second form of compensation that exists. And for me, this is like the next level maximum amount that you'll get from companies. And for at this point, most tech companies offer each and every one of these, but some tech companies don't offer each of them. So you'll have to take a look at your offer letter, take a look at what your company currently offers in order to leverage these. So, what are they? Starting with number one, performance bonus. It's different from starting bonus. Starting bonus, you get it because you accepted the offer and they give it to you at the start of your employment with the company. Performance bonus has on the other hand, happens or is given to you or employees at a particular point in time. And it could be, let's say, for example, my previous companies had a yearly performance bonus, and it happens after the performance evaluations. Um, where they measure how much you contributed to the company, and then they reward you with a performance bonus. Um, so this is wonderful surprise. I forget every single year that performance bonuses are a thing, and every time I had gotten one in the past, it was a beautiful, wonderful surprise. Um, the next form of compensation, stock options. This is something that I haven't personally have much experience in, and so I will only speak a little bit about it. But from what I know, there's tech companies or different companies in general that offer stock options instead of granting you stocks. So, like, I won't get into the details, but you can Google RSUs versus stock options. Um, and that's the other form of compensation. One day I'll learn more about it and then I'll share it with you, wonderful, beautiful people. Okay, 401k match. This is another one. I like this when it's like a 50% match, for example, or a good amount percentage match, and there then you're building your wealth because the company is technically uh, matching the amount of money that you put into your 401k. So let's say, for example, if you max out your 401k at, let's say, I think this year is something like 20,000, or it's going to be next year 20,000 max or something like that, give or take couple $1,000 plus or minus a couple $1,000. And some companies match 50% of that. So if you put in 20,000, your company will put in 50% of that, which is 10,000, and that's an extra 10,000 compensation added to your um, to add to your net worth. And this is great. I typically do invest in the 401k up to the match. But because there is a minimum age you have to be before you can touch the money or take out the money, I tend to only put up to the match because that's free money. It's essentially. Um, okay, what else? What else do we have? Free food. The reason I say that this is compensation is because if the company is not offering this if, for example, my internships, none of my internships offered free food on a daily basis. And what did I have to do for lunch? Go outside and purchase lunch myself. So that's what, like, let's say, for example, $15 a day for lunch every single day. But if, on the other hand, your company is offering free food for lunch, then you're saving those $15 each and every single day. Doesn't seem like compensation, but to me, that's compensation because every dollar saved is going to grow. It's going to recruit other soldiers into our army of dollars. And so, free food, wonderful form of compensation for me personally. I love it because I don't have to go out and buy food. It's a great time to just get together with your coworkers and go to the lunch space in your office. So this is what I love also about tech companies. They tend to be the ones who offer free food and beautiful stuff. Let's see. So the next one that we have here is HSA contributions. What is an HSA? Health Savings Account. There we are. So you can use this for healthcare or similar items. And yeah, this is great because it's helping you save for a particular reason. And your healthcare is important. So, one of the companies I worked for previously, they contributed $1,000 every single year to your HSA account. And this was wonderful because now I have a couple of $1,000 sitting in my HSA account that I literally, yeah, it's just I didn't put it in there. Someone else put it in for me, my company or my previous company. So that's great. All right, the final form of compensation that I'll talk about in this second level is healthcare. So the reason I say it's compensation is because it will cost you money to have healthcare individually versus on a group plan from through your company. So there we are. There are probably other forms of compensation at this level, but these are the main ones that I personally have loved the most and the ones that have helped me gain or add the most to my personal net worth. And so those are the ones I'm sharing. And I'm sure I probably am forgetting one or two things, but if they come to my mind, I will share them with you next time. So those are two so far. We'll jump into the third. But before we jump into the third one, I'm curious, what is your favorite form of compensation at your job? Please comment below with your favorite form of compensation. I would love to know. And as I mentioned, mine was like stock grants, and I shared my reason. So I'm curious what your favorite is and why. Cool. So jumping into the next one, uh, so the previous things that I spoke about were one, what is our total compensation in general? What is it made up of? The second thing I spoke about was other forms of compensation that exists. And the next thing I'm talking about is how to find different other things that exist. So one of the things that I loved at one of my previous companies was you would get reimbursed for taking classes or getting coaching. This to me was the best benefit that exists ever. And I feel like every single company should offer this. It's super, super valuable. For example, I leveraged this to get coaching, and otherwise I would have had to pay like $5,000 or something like that. But my company covered a huge percentage of the price. So this is great. And one way that I found out about this form of compensation was when I got my offer letter, I looked at the benefits package. And so my advice to anyone is don't skip over that benefits package because you will discover things in there that you might not have known existed prior to receiving that document. So read through the whole thing thoroughly and make note of the things that interest you. Um, and benefits package usually cover the most is the most comprehensive way to find out what other smaller kinds of compensation or rewards your company offers. um, so as I mentioned, coaching and classes, I feel like that's becoming maybe not the coaching part, but taking or reimbursement for classes is becoming a lot more popular with companies, and I think it makes sense because the more your employees grow and learn, the more they can contribute and add value to the company. So that's one good way to find out what rewards your company offers or benefits. And then the next thing, the fourth thing I like to share is to search the intranet of your company. So the not the internet, the intranet, which is the private internet for your company. And you can search for, I don't know, benefits. You can search for reimbursements. You can search for anything else. Like, for example, one of the companies I worked for during the pandemic offered home office equipment reimbursement. And this is super, super, super valuable because we needed it. It was going to be hard to get work done if you didn't have an office set up. So that's one thing that wasn't part of the benefits package, but was discoverable via the intranet if you missed the email, for example. And there are a ton of things like this that you can find. Like, for example, I know companies offer free tax advice, free financial advice. Something that I thought was really, really interesting was a couple of free therapy sessions. So those are very useful for you, and you might otherwise have to spend money on those things. But if you can leverage what your company is offering in order to save money on this, then that is wonderful. Um, cool. So the last thing I want to share is other perks. And as I mentioned previously, these things might not be dollars in your pocket, but they are saving opportunities. These are things that are benefiting your mental health. And therefore, through your increased or main or sustained mental health, you can then produce more money, right? Because who's going to produce money when they aren't feeling good, when they can't get out of bed, or like when they're really, really tired? It's hard to produce money like that. And therefore, then this part that I will share with you might not seem like compensation, but you definitely want to leverage it in order to um, increase your well-being, which will essentially help you with your building your wealth. So, what are these perks that I'm chatting about? One of my favorite example, massages. One of the companies I worked for offered free massages if you had a certain amount of points, and every employee was given this, I guess, like starting amount of points. I think like 60 points, which equals one massage. So that's one form of compensation, which will help you relax and therefore increase your well-being, um, allowing you to focus, make more money. Another perk, for example, offsites, which is where you can build your network with other people within your department, other people within your team, and build better relationships with your team, which could help you with promotions, for example, and help you with other internal opportunities, internal um, other jobs you could potentially get, which might increase your ability to build your net worth. So I think this is a clear example of how these perks, which are not necessarily dollars, I mean, giving you any dollars or any money directly, can help you increase your compensation eventually. Obviously, you put in the work, you put in the energy, the time, and you will be rewarded. What's another perk? Nap rooms. So, coming out from lunch and feeling super, super, super tired, what's a great way to get refreshed and to kickstart your day again? Take a quick 20, 30-minute nap, and then you can go back to work even more energized and have the ability to make bigger impact and maybe increase your performance bonus at the end of the year, something like that. And lastly, snacks are always great because for me personally, I remember studying in college. It was very, very helpful for me to have a snack that I can munch on as I work, as I study. And it kept me motivated, kept me going, kept me busy, kept my fingers busy as I kind of ate and studied at the same time. So these are the 5 tips / forms of compensation I wanted to share with you guys. And as I mentioned, some of these are not direct dollars in your pocket, but they will help your well-being, which eventually um, is an investment in yourself because it can help you make even more money in the future. So that's how you can make the most, not leave any money on the table. But I do want to caveat and say, when I say leave, don't leave any money on the table. If you have to leave money on the table because it's impacting your well being, 100% do it. If your well being is at stake, then amount of money can, no amount of money is worth your well being. So that is the one time I would say definitely leave money on the table if you have to run away. But we'll chat in a future video about this topic. So we'll save that for another time. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for being here, for watching. And if you're not at the kind of company that you want to work for today, I know for a fact that you can get there very soon if you set your mind to it. So if you're already there, congrats, congrats, stack your cash and investments. And yes, for those of you who would like and are in that process, in a few months, I will start enrolling people into the Ignite Your Job Search course. So drop your email in the link that I added in the description box so that you can be the first one to know when I release the course. So yes, you can get the jobs in the industries that you want, and you can get the level of compensation that you want. So in this course, we will speak about everything from the energy that you bring to interviews, resumes, networking, etc., and all the way to finally making decisions between multiple offers. So, give this video a like if you found it valuable in any way, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.